Kia ora, welcome to 5 Minutes with the FMA. Today we're talking about outcomes-focused regulation. We consulted on this in November 2023 and have since evolved our approach and updated the final document. Here to talk to us about it is our General Counsel Liam Mason. Liam, can you tell us what outcomes-focused regulation is?
Kia ora, Matt. Outcomes-focused regulation means simply that we focus our regulatory efforts on the end results that regulation is trying to achieve for consumers and for financial markets. If we start at that point, it shapes all of our regulatory activities. It helps us to avoid a tick-box approach to compliance, and it means that we are prioritising the things that matter for New Zealanders, for New Zealand markets. It's something that very much requires the regulator and the industry to both work together to achieve those better outcomes for New Zealand.
So we got a range of feedback from the consultation, 50 submissions all up. What did the feedback say?
The feedback was incredibly valuable. The main thing it told us is we hadn't done a good job of communicating this the first time round. What we heard from folk was that there was good support for the themes that we thought were important in the market, but the impression we'd given was that this was an additional set of rules or that it wasn't sufficiently connected to our statutory objectives and to the work that we have to do.
So moving on from there, what's different about the approach now?
So the most important difference is we're really trying to clarify that this is about the approach that we take to our job as a regulator. It's not about new rules for the industry. The outcomes themselves are still important. They are what we're using to prioritise our work. And we've clarified those and really connected them strongly with our main statutory objective and the purposes of our legislation. So that means we've connected them with fair, efficient, transparent financial markets, with promoting informed participation in our markets, and the other purposes in our legislation, like good information for investors and good governance, reducing unnecessary compliance costs and promoting innovation.
And why is it the FMA is moving in this direction?
As a regulator, we have limited resources and we need to make choices about what we focus on. It's critical, if we are to deliver on our mandate, that we make those choices well and that we're focusing on the things that matter for New Zealand, for New Zealand's markets, for New Zealand's people. And that's what these outcomes are intended to help us to do.
So what will be different for industry? What will they experience from the FMA?
Well, this is an approach that we want to take up right across the FMA and everything that we do. Industry is going to experience it most directly in our market-facing functions, our licensing, our supervision, our response and enforcement, and our exemptions. And what we're setting out in this document is a new supervisory approach intended to be more forward-looking, engaging with businesses to build our knowledge of their business models and how they operate and the risks that those might raise for industry and how we can work together to minimise those. We'll be shaping our supervisory approach by the impact that firms have in the market. For larger firms, we'll be supervising them on a group basis. And for these larger firms, there'll be more interaction with boards and senior management. But right across the board, we'll be looking to ensure that our feedback is focused on important matters, that we're explaining the rationale when we raise something and not focusing on minor compliance issues. The idea there is to work together with industry to ensure that our financial services are delivering well for all New Zealanders.
So is this all new, or has the FMA already been working on, this?
So parts of it are new, like the new supervisory approach, but we have been working over the last year or more to take a more outcomes-focused approach in the work that we do. And there are some examples of that, such as the report that we published on an insights report on financial advice providers, where we highlighted that good practice isn't just about complying with the strict letter of the law, but seeking there to explain how regulation can help to produce better results for customers, therefore better results for the firms. Our liquidity risk management guidance, we highlighted there the importance of liquidity risk management for customers and also for market integrity. And as well, of course, we are launching a regulatory sandbox which is intended to promote innovation and to give startup firms a chance to participate in financial markets, to provide financial services in a way that helps them to test their products and is also good for consumers. And of course, there's an example that you can see in our fair dealing enforcement, where we're emphasising the importance that the products that are delivered to customers should match the promises that are made to them.
I'd just like to touch on the length of time it took to get to this point. I'm sure industry would like to know why it took over a year. Could you shed some light on that? Yeah, sure.
It's a good question, and as I've said before, the feedback that we received was really valuable to us. But it told us that we needed to change the approach, change how we were communicating this, and so we've taken the time to do that, and we've taken the time to really make sure that the message that we're putting out there explains that this is about how we make our choices, how we prioritise. It's not additional regulatory burden. It's not a new set of rules.
And if industry would like to learn more about OFR from the FMA, how can they do that?
Well, they can contact anyone at the FMA to help them to understand this, and in particular their relationship manager or designate.
Thanks for joining us today, Liam. And if you would like to read the outcomes-focused regulation document, you can find it on our website, fma.govt.nz. See you next time.